Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes.
Is there anybody out there that wants to roll? And is there anybody out there that wants to boogie? Tonight, live from the Apollo, Glasgow.
Well, if you're looking for trouble, I'm the man to see. If you're looking for satisfaction, the satisfaction guaranteed. I'm as cool as a body on ice, hotter than the rolling dice. Send you to heaven, or take you to hell. I ain't fooling, can't you tell? I'm a live wire.
Good evening. Hello. It's Scott MacArthur here.
And Andy Muir here.
Welcome to the Glasgow Apollo Live broadcast. This, believe it or not, is week 11. Isn't that amazing? Week 11.
You're kidding.
Nope. Week 11. Unbelievable.
We're still doing it as well as we can.
Yeah, well, I think we're getting slightly better. Maybe not massively better, but anyway, how's your week been, Matt? You had a good week?
It's been good, yeah. Not bad. Yeah, not bad.
I'm
Slept
sort of,
sometimes. Yeah.
well, yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? I mean, I'm sitting here. Normally at this time of the year, with the Six Nations starting tomorrow, I'd be getting all excited, and so tomorrow I'm doing a Zoom call with all my mates in the rugby, and we're going to watch the Scotland game rather than being in my local boozer. So it's not quite the same, but it's been good though. One of the good things about being living in England is when Scotland play England at rugby, mate. It's brilliant because we're not always that good against them, but in the last few years we have been quite good. So it's been quite good. So
you think you'll have a chance tomorrow? Sorry.
I think so. I mean, it's a strong side we've got, and because there's no crowd in Twickenham. Anyway, we digress. We digress. Anyway, hello everybody. We could start no, I don't know if a rugby podcast would go down quite as well.
It's been done, yeah. Been done.
I'm sure it has been done, yeah. But anyway, tonight, we've got the usual mix of what happened this week. We've had a brilliant week again on the socials, so we're going to cover that. I even think Andy might have done some homework this week, which is amazing. Then we're going to look at there's a video which I've been looking forward to showing for a long time, and then we're going to finish with an absolute classic, which Andy says I tend to pick songs by bands that no one's ever heard. You've heard this one, particularly you, mate, particularly you. So, so as always, let's start with this.
Do we usually start with that? Do we usually start with that? Do we? I thought it was the socials we did first, but then there you go. Okay.
Well, you could do the socials if you want. I don't care.
No, we'll do this. We'll do this, mate. Actually, I was thinking instead of doing the past week, maybe we should do what's happening next week, but we'll just do it for this week. Last week.
Changing the format. Oh, right, okay. Well, I'll put the thing up. I'll put
gigs of the last week, gigs of next week. Anyway, so okay. Well, what a week it was. A bit quiet again. Due to some technical issues in my part. There was a couple of gigs, a couple of bands missing, but all been sorted out using my good friend Steve's SQL Server brains. Okay, Peters and Lee. Good. I can't remember Peters and Lee, but
oh God, I've got nightmares.
vague remembers of them on. They'd probably be on Shirley Bassey or something. Shirley Bassey show. Bobby Crush was his support, and I did watch one of his songs yesterday. That's all I can say.
I wouldn't be doing much more
No,
of
right.
that.
He's apparently he's done a documentary, and he's in Los Angeles or
Oh,
Las Vegas. And he does I think he does like a Liberace sort of thing in part of his show because he's a piano player. Barty James Harvest, I think we mentioned that last week, but that might be due to anomaly of the search engine there. Charlie Pride. I don't know what Charlie Pride is.
Charlie Pride was a sort of crooner.
Was he?
Yeah, I remember Charlie Pride. He was like, he kind of wore brown suits with great big lapels.
Oh, yeah. And frills.
Aye, exactly that.
Tom Jones-esque sort of.
Not as talented as Tom Jones.
All right.
Sort of Sidney Devine standard, I think. That sort of level of quality.
Commander Cody and the Lost Planet Airman. We had a wee discussion about this before we came online. I listened to that this morning, a live album of theirs. Quite good. It was not bad. It was sort of country rock. Commander Cody wasn't the singer. He was the keyboard player. Yeah, I would have thought that, but he was a keyboard player. They were sort of humorous country rock with a bit sweary.
There was some bad language, wasn't there?
Yeah, kind of. They did some Chuck Berry style.
Right.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, they were pretty good, actually. They probably went down well at the Apollo. 10cc and Chaz and Dave, that would have been I always say that would have been a great gig, but I'm pretty sure that would have been a great gig.
I think Chaz and Dave were always good value, mate. I liked them. I saw them.
Yeah, they would be fun. Yeah. They would appeal to a broad church. You know, Todd Rundgren, that was an addition for me this week. Jethro Tull and Leo Kottke in support. The only reason why I know Leo Kottke is because my mate Steve, he plays a lot of Leo Kottke, and if you fancy watching some good guitar with some good stories, and he's a 12-string guitarist, probably the best exponent. That's the word. Exponent of 12-string guitar acoustic. Probably go watch him. He's brilliant. But if you like flute-based rock and roll, go and watch Jethro Tull. Standing on one leg. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how that man does it. I saw him 2 years ago, still standing on one leg. His knees must be amazing.
His voice is gone though. His voice is totally shot.
His voice was pretty bad. Bebop Deluxe. Good. Judas Priest and what were you going to say?
I'd Bebop Deluxe. I don't know anything about their music. Obviously, I've heard their name and.
Me neither. Yeah. I think maybe the name Bebop. Too close. Bebop rocks. It put me off a little.
Oh dear. 42. Right. Anyway, move on.
Judas Priest and the English Assassins. Yes. Judas Priest really. Would that be when they're coming to their? They got really big in 1980, I think. So that would be them just sort of climbing up the ladder of.
Is that British Steel time, or is it they were?
That might have been. Yeah, that might have been British Steel. I'm not sure. And the English Assassins. The only reason why I know that is because Jim Grennan, I think it was, he alerted me to the fact that this band supported them.
Right, okay.
And I had a wee look at their stuff, and the lead singer of the English Assassins left United Kingdom and went to America, and was in a band with Nikki Sixx. Oh, and they were called London, and they were a sort of glam metal, proto metal rock band, and they were a few people in that band went on to greater success, and I think London are still going.
I think they are, yeah.
And they're the shadow of their former self. Yeah,
less hair.
Yeah, well, probably not. It's probably someone else's. Robin Trower and Samson. apparently the legions on the site said that Samson weren't that great, but I saw them a few years later supporting someone, and maybe Iron Maiden. Oh, I can't remember, but they were pretty good then.
Right.
Control. I really quite like him. He's a good guitarist and he's a good singer. Uriah Heep, once again, good.
Yeah.
That had been solid rock gig, and Girls' School in Support, which was another addition from the site. Thanks very much. I do appreciate people taking the time to tell me what I've missed.
Here's another one.
Oh,
This is from Jerry Hill. Stu Francis, comedian. I remember Stu Francis.
Yeah.
How do you remember Stuart Francis?
He was on
Crackerjack.
Crackerjack, yes.
Yeah, right, yes. I met him once in a lift in Aberdeen.
Oh.
That's my claim to fame. He was a wee guy.
He was, yeah, well, he was a wee guy. What?
Aye.
I don't know what you're talking about. What is it in relation to?
Was supporting Peters and Lee.
Oh, was he?
There you go. See, information, mate. Thanks very much.
Right.
And here's
well, that's pretty cool.
the only thing I know about Peters and Lee is they were favourites of the Cray twins. Oh my goodness. And Lenny Peters is the uncle of Charlie Watts of the Stones. Really? Some useless information for you two guys. Yeah, well, very good. You really are interesting, Dave.
Fruit. All right. Stained Glass. Here's someone.
Good album.
Good album.
Really good album.
Is that with Green Man Alicia on it? No, probably not.
I don't know. That's the song that when I saw them in 1980, which was my first gig, unlike you with the Wombles, I remember Green Man Alicia. That's a Fleetwood Mac song, isn't it? Eh?
Yeah, Wings.
No, it was the Wombles, mate. Your memory's gone. Your memory's shot.
The Wombles for you, dude.
I never saw the Wombles. I wish I had saw the Wombles. We need to get T-shirts where I wish I'd seen the Wombles.
Oh, I never saw the Wombles.
And go back to this. Hold on, let me get this caption off. Hold on. It's a really weird week. I mean, I don't know who, why is that Bartley James Harvest gig there? Is that an anomaly or is that?
No.
Yeah. All right, okay. Because I don't know who Julian Brooke is. Do you know who Julian Brooke is? Does anyone know who Julian Brooke is? Don't know his.
Well, I don't know.
No, I don't know that name.
Done some more homework, but
yeah, I don't know that name. But and then the other one that it's quite embarrassing this week. Todd Rundgren's another guy. I mean, I've actually seen Todd Rundgren. I actually saw Todd Rundgren, and I thought he was absolutely gash. Yeah. I mean, it was like, it was awful. I mean, and I think I got him on a bad day because there's loads of my friends have said to me, "Oh, he was brilliant, great at the Apollo." It's like two bands. I remember. I'm going off piece here a wee bit, but I remember I saw the Groundhogs at the venue in Edinburgh, and it was painful. And I saw Todd Rundgren, and it was painful. And yet other people have said he's a great live band. And the guy who was in the Groundhogs is now on the website. I mean, he contributes. He's a really nice guy. And I've listened to recordings. So whether it was me with my Guinness or something that was causing the problem rather than them, which is
might have been a bad day.
It might have been a bad day.
Yeah, but he produced. Didn't he write all the songs for me? No, he produced Bat Out of Hell.
Yeah. Graham McDonald is not impressed. The Wombles, I should have stayed at work. Sorry, mate. Right, we'll move on. We'll move on. Right, okay. So next up, thank you. That's not a bad, it's not a busy week, but it's certainly a different week. So
different week, yeah.
Yeah. So according to you, this is where I should have started this, but I'm not sure what order we were doing this in. Not a bad wee tune that. I quite like that. Right. Anyway, what's been happening, mate?
What's been happening? Well, what a week it has been. Tumultuous. No, it's been fine. Well, this week there was 581 active members of this fine group. Mm-hmm. We have increased our membership to 8,569 with a few blockers. I blocked a few folks. You don't need to know that. But anyway,
I
I'll
quite
give you
like
the
that.
rundown of the top. I mean, it's good when I block people. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Power's going to your head, mate.
Yep.
Go to your head.
Look, I hardly ever block anyone. I just
Just Wombles fans.
I dismiss them. Yeah, check the profile. Womble fan. Nah, you're not getting in. You're out the back. Okay, I'll do the top 10 contributors this week. Number 10, Sammy Corey with a sad admission about Gary Glitter. Not
Oh, I
sure
saw that.
if he wanted to continue with that, but there was about 120 replies to their comment. Ian Arbuckle, he mentioned about the live shows recordings at the Apollo, which, like saying, was that the was the Apollo the most recorded venue for live albums? And people said maybe. Doug, Graham McDonald. I would have thought it'd be Albert Hall or something.
Aye, or the Hammersmith in London, because I mean the
Greek
the cost
in San Francisco.
Aye.
Yeah. Okay, so Ian Arbuckle live shows. Graham McDonald's picture of the Wombles. The Wombles? I've got the Wombles in the brain now. The Osmonds. Of the Osmonds.
Yes.
Osmonds. I got like 800. It's got 118 comments and likes. Doug's Forrest picture, the mural on his wall, which is pretty good for, do you see that one, the Stranglers picture?
I did.
Yeah. Oh, you got it. Oh, it's professional, this guy. Seamless. That's good. Great picture. Well done, Doug.
Yeah. Talk to you later, Doug. Very good.
Yeah. He's a Zoom regular. I had like 88 comments. Claire Carruthers was a picture she got for her 60th birthday from James Dinnan, who is on the site too. They are, the picture of the bus outside. Yeah. The bus driving past the Apollo in the rain, because it would never be in the sunshine. It probably was in the sunshine at one day.
Yes. I can't remember that.
Yeah. Kathleen, number 5, Kathleen Smiley had the thing. What gig would you go back in time to see? It was like 180 comments. So
yeah,
not like we're living in the past talking about the Apollo. A lot of people would be commenting on that.
Yeah.
If one band I'd love to go and see would be Cry of Love.
Yeah, me too.
And they
brilliant.
But
it would have been great to see them. People might not have heard of them. Maybe we should play some later. But God, they were a good outfit.
Yeah. Cry of Love, Brother album.
Yeah.
If you like Southern rock, Bad Company, Free.
It's just brilliant.
That's the one to go for. Yeah. Okay, number 4. I'll speed this up. Number 4. Ian Arbuckle's post about support to legend. Which artist you watched as a support went on to be famous person. One of them was your friend and mine, Glenn Hughes.
Right, okay. Right.
Yeah. And Jim Grennan posted that thing. It was about the Who. And it was at Celtic Park. So it was a bit, I don't know, but there's a lot of Who fans, and they all went, Alex Harvey was better. No, he wasn't. He was. So it was a bit of a smash. And next one was a number 2 with a bullet is Derek McGeechan about the first gigs, first albums, first post. I see again. I will delete.
Yes.
And it was 212 comments, but I don't know how relevant it is to Apollo. Maybe you should have made it first gig at the Apollo, first song at the Apollo, first album at the Apollo. Make it tenuous. And James McAnally was a post about the support bands and who got booed off And
Yes.
there was a couple of mentions of John Cooper Clarke and
Yes.
probably Japan. I think Japan got booed off too.
I love Japan. I think they're brilliant. I guess back in the day they were a bit poppy, weren't they?
Well, they were supporting Blue Oyster Cult, so it was the wrong audience.
That doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, the work that David Sylvian's doing now is absolutely beautiful. I mean, there's an album called World something or other. What's the second name of it? Can't remember. But absolutely gorgeous album.
Yeah.
Gorgeous album. There's Derek McAdam just confirming about your fetish for Cry of Love in that album.
Mate, I searched out their boot rescued recordings.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Anyway, I search out their rescued recordings every day, just about. But I think I've got every bootleg of theirs. Cry of Love. Brilliant band.
Quite extraordinary. Quite extraordinary. There's a few things that I thought were quite interesting. You've mentioned a couple of. Oh, sorry.
That was another thing.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a hoo-ha about electricians in the Apollo. Yeah.
Why?
I'm trying to think of it was a bit shocking. Yes. I was trying to think of a pun for electricity, but there was two opposing sides to an argument, and they didn't entirely agree. I don't know why they were arguing. One guy said he worked at the Apollo. The other guy said, no, he didn't. I did.
Oh.
No, he didn't. I did.
We could do this show, mate, because we're as forgetful as that.
Yeah. It was fine, but, I let it go. But I could have put him at the side door.
Yeah, it could have been side door for them, but that nonsense. We've got, is this a new member? We've got Chris Dunn saying that he saw Billy Connolly, ABBA, Genesis, and the Style Council. There's a mix. That's eclectic, isn't it? I would rather go to the dentist than see the Style Council, but apart from that, I wouldn't mind seeing ABBA. I'd love to have seen Billy Connolly at the Apollo, and Genesis. I'll come back to them in a minute. Absolutely fantastic.
I would have gone to see Genesis.
Oh, I'd love to have seen them. Not anymore. It's quite sad. They're doing this new tour. I don't know if you've seen it, and it's really expensive. And Phil Collins is in such a state. I just can't see him surviving a tour. He looks so ill. I mean, it's obviously his decision, but it's really, really looks awful. I'm sure he'll sing well, but because he's a good guy. Yeah. But
he's not playing drums or anything. His son plays it.
No, his son, yeah. And here's Raymond Sullivan saying, I agree about Japan. Was at the Blue Oyster Cult gig and witnessed the booing, but later got really into them. Yeah.
It wouldn't have done the band them any favours.
No. Well, that would be when they had a record deal with one of these stupid record companies that just tried things all the time and paired bands up with other bands and maybe signed them both or whatever. And it was you got that quite often. Bon, I don't understand your comment about the story was. I don't understand that. Do you understand that, Andy? I'm not going to put it up because I don't understand it. Bon, write it again.
Doesn't matter. There was one earlier. When your first jobby was, I don't know.
This is Bon again. We got tickets for Genesis. Stage show looks awesome, but keeps getting postponed. Yeah, I just worry that they postpone it, Bon, so much that it ends up that Phil passes, because when you see him, I mean, there was a video on YouTube of him getting in and out of a car, and oh god, and he was such a character when he was at the height of his capability and his pomp. I mean, I didn't particularly like his pop career, but he was an effervescent character, and it's all fizzled out, which is a real shame. Yeah. There was a few things, mate, if I may, I thought were really cool. I'm going to mention a few other things in addition to that. The first one is a friend of the show, Ian Bamford, posted about Queen, and it was quite cool because what happened was his wife took some photographs that were stored as slides of the Queen gig back in '75. Now I've got one of them here. I mean, they're quite good because you can actually see the state of the place. And Andy was saying if he'd had time, he'd have cleaned it up a wee bit. But you can see the state of the place there. Up I think that must be the circle, eh? I think it's the upper circle. I think Ian said it was.
That's a circle.
Looks like the circle. But And it's quite sad that I'm now more interested in photographs of the venue than I am of the bands. So it's quite.
It's still, we've talked about this before, but
yeah.
when we first started the website, it was we was struggling to get any pictures in it, you know.
Yeah.
And then 8,500 people join a Facebook group, and many people have pictures. You know, I would have been too scared to actually have taken a picture in the Apollo.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the story there that Ian told was that his other half actually got taken by the bouncers down to one of the what they called the seats at the side. No, the fancy seats, the ones in the. Oh, my brain is gone tonight completely.
The boxes.
The boxes, yeah. So the bouncer took Ian's now wife down to one of the boxes, and they got a photograph, quite a good photograph of the band on stage. It's on the Facebook group. Fantastic. So maybe the bouncers weren't always as bad as we were led to believe. Well, maybe they were. I was scared of them. The other one, and this one.
Well, they were big hairy men, and you were just a wee boy.
There's a few of them on here. So hello, guys. I still wouldn't want to meet you in the dark night. But Big Willie and co. But anyway, we had a couple of guys mentioned. That was Steve Vinicum and Brian Mack mentioned that it was the sensational Mr. Alex Harvey passed away yesterday in 1982, which is unbelievable. And then tonight on Fish's show, Fish on Friday, Fish was talking about Alex Harvey, and funny enough, he saw Fish saw Alex Harvey at the Who gig at Parkhead, but never got to meet Alec. But he did actually sing with the Alex Harvey band for a little while. He was actually trying to get Zal to join his band, and I didn't know that. Imagine Zal Clemson playing for Fish. That would have been brilliant. That would have been absolutely brilliant. So, Alec, mate, we miss you. I never saw him either. Just missed us by about 5 years, I guess. It would have been brilliant to see him. And it's the consistent name that's mentioned on this group is Alec Harvey, Alec Harvey, Alec Harvey. And I wish there was more out there of Alec, because there's not that much live material. There's very few concert recordings. It's a bit like the T-Rex discussion we had. You know, there's like Hen's Teeth, which is a real shame. I mean, there is some on some of the official websites and stuff, but there's very little. So anyway, so thanks for reminding us of that, guys. That was really much appreciated. Then Kenny Brown also reminded us that Ozzy started his Blizzard of Oz career at the Glasgow Apollo, and he was famously sat in HMV. I think he was either doing a signing or he was doing some music, and he was asked how he felt about playing at the Apollo that night. He said, "Oh, he was shitting himself." And he needn't have worried, because he went down a storm, and I saw him twice at the Apollo at the Speak of the Devil and at Bark at the Moon tours, and he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. And weirdly, on my Facebook page today, you know how it pops up memories, mate? You know, you get memories. Yeah. Well, 4 years ago, I was at the last Sabbath gig in Birmingham. I remember me going to that, yeah. And I have to say, despite all the health issues he's had, the drugs that he's enjoyed over his life, and having to live with Sharon for so long, he did well that night. He was really singing well, and I've got recordings of it, and it's actually out as a live DVD. You can buy it. Yeah. He really was on form. He didn't move. If you remember, if you ever saw him at the Apollo, he was running about like a mad person, because he was. But he stands still now and does this sort of thing. But
let's go crazy!
Yeah, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Exactly, he claps like that. It's just very odd. But yeah, so thanks, Kerry, for reminding me of that. Yeah. and there's loads. Bon Scott and others have already posted photographs of when they met Ozzy, and one of my prized possessions is a beer mat with to Scott from Ozzy Osbourne. It's framed down in my hall. I was given that when I won a competition on a certain rock show, which we will come back to later on in the show. Next up, now I'm not sure I can read your name right, Jim McCarricker. Was reminding everybody that Genesis played their first gig without Peter Gabriel around about this time, and overwhelmingly on the group, everybody's saying brilliant gig, but also overwhelmingly it was the beginning of the end for a lot of folk for Genesis and being Genesis fans. Now I'm pretty on the Peter Gabriel side. I was never that keen on the wee man. Although I really like him, and I thought he was a great actor and a wonderful voice. And I mean, he's not somebody you could ever dislike, but I'm a prog fan, and I think Genesis no longer became a prog fan after the big man Peter Gabriel left. But
they were rock band.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that was the Last Dance thing they did, and then that album Invisible Touch. We had a mate called Ian, right? Now Andy and I lived in fairly ordinary. Well, I lived in a very ordinary council house with, no, not like that, but it was pretty crap. We never had any money. And our mate Ian, his family are a bit more middle class, and he was the first one to have a DVD player. And the first album he got, CD player. That's what I meant. Good job, you're there. So he got the first CD player, and I remember us all gathering around in his bedroom upstairs, listening to Invisible Touch, and it was quite mind blowing, the quality of it in terms of the production, but a bit like the Steve Wilson album, production's not everything. Anyway, move on. So next up we had Kathleen Smiley. Hi, Kathleen. She was the one that asked about what band you would like to go back and see. What about you, mate? Apart from Krylov, who else?
AC/DC when they recorded If You Want Blood, 1978.
78, yeah. I think I'm very close to being with you there. I would have liked to have seen them even earlier. You know those gigs they did when they did that Scottish tour that we talked about 2 or 3 shows ago? I would love to have seen them. I'd love to have seen them in a pub. That would have been unbelievable. So for me, that would have been pretty cool. Weirdly, I'd like to have seen Oasis at King Tut's that night. You know that when they first got discovered, really? I'd like to have seen that gig. I wonder what the crowd was like. Was anybody at it? Because I wonder who was in, what sort of crowd they used to draw. Which I'd quite like to hear what that gig was like. But I fancy I have been at that. I saw one of the gigs I was at that a lot of folks say they wish they had been at was actually the Boy tour by U2. Oh, where was it? Yeah, but it was awful, man. That was terrible. But it was one of these. No, I think it was Edinburgh. I remember the gig, and I remember them jumping about with no tops on. But I don't really remember much else. Might be a false memory. I might be making it up. I don't know. But anyway, it was.
Well, I used to listen to a Radio Clyde U2 recording from. Oh, Jesus! Is it the Mayfair? I'm not sure.
Mayfair. It could have been the Mayfair Bond, yeah.
But it was a brilliant. To me, it was better than Live at Red Rocks. But anyway, we're getting away from the Apollo, so let's get back to the Apollo. Yeah. They would have been done. They would have been really. I don't know why they didn't do.
That's weird that they never played the Apollo.
Yeah, they would have been a great support act. That would have been the thing. They would have been coming up, being really good then. They would have been amazing at the Apollo.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then the final one that I want to mention was another lady. It was Elizabeth Weir Regan talked about the musical that we.
Oh yeah, I saw that one too.
And how she bumped into Tommy and had a chat and was really impressed by it. But digging into the comments, this is something that you and I have been wondering about for a long time, and it's always the same. These things are right in front of your face, and you just miss them. But one of the ladies, Christine Nange, was one of the women who put the petition together to save the Apollo, and she's on the site, mate.
Oh, brilliant! Because
she's on the site. Oh. I don't think she knows, Christine. If you're there, we've been wanting to talk to you about what happened and how it happened for ages, and you clearly know Tommy McGrory. So what's going on, mate? You know. So I was really pleased about that. And if you don't know, guys, what happened was Christine and her friend Valerie famously put together a petition when they were talking about turning the Apollo into a bingo hall. Yeah. And they made the news. If you Google it, you'll find it. There's actually press cuttings about them putting the petition together, and they helped save the Apollo. So Christine, brilliant that you're on the group, absolutely brilliant, and it's great finally, because when we were writing the book, we wanted to interview you to be in it, but we couldn't find you. So Tommy, if you're watching, why didn't you tell us? Anyway, so that was nice. that made my day, mate. Because
we didn't ask the question.
Well, maybe not. It was just one of these things that it's amazing how this Facebook activity has changed everything, hasn't it? It's changed everything. It's brilliant. absolutely brilliant. So thanks very much. So let's just have a look at the comments, Andy. Some folk are thinking YouTube played the Mayfair or Tiffany's. I'm maybe making this up. No, I'm sure. I think it was Tiffany's, which was what was on my tip of my tongue. And I went with an ex-girlfriend of mine, and I remember bits of it. But I think we came over from Edinburgh, Andy, me and Julie Mark 1, and we got really
sure
drunk.
Julie Mark 2's happy about this.
Oh no, Julie Mark 2 knows. Oh, she'd probably shout at me, yeah. But anyway, so here we got some other folk. There's Raymond Sullivan saying something here. What are you saying, Raymond? Was lucky enough to be at the If You Want Blood gig. There you go, Andy. And he's never seen AC/DC with Brian Johnson. I'm jealous. That must have been brilliant. And I do wish they would release the whole of the gig, because the video, because there's only little bits of it now. I mean, if you look on YouTube, it's quite weird. I mentioned this before. It's quite difficult to find it all joined together as well. It seems to be in individual songs all over the place. But we haven't featured any of those songs yet.
It's on Bonds Balls.
Oh, aye.
Balls on the. It's an AC/DC release.
I've got that. I've got that.
Well, it's on there.
And as for not seeing Brian Johnson, you know, I go through phases with Brian Johnson, because Back in Black, clearly written by Bon Scott. There's no way Brian Johnson wrote those songs. He maybe tweaked them, but Back in Black's brilliant. I love it, and I love listening to those songs. And I think it gradually went down to, you know, just singing about rock and cocks and whatever from then. But I still love them to bits, and I love him. I think he's brilliant. And I think the odd song that they've done, like Thunderstruck, are still absolutely out of this world. And so you can't. I mean, I'm a fan. So
I'm enjoying the new album.
The new album is good, actually. Aye, it's one of the newer ones that I've actually listened to more than once. You know,
I think we've talked about this before. Yeah,
we have talked about this before.
Black Ice, good album. I like Black Ice. It's good.
Yeah,
Rock and Bus, good album. I liked it.
It's not a bad album. Yeah. Definitely Tiffany's, December 82, March 82. There you go. Thanks very much, Derek. I was at one of them. I can't remember which one it was. I don't have a ticket for it, so I have no idea. But I remember the gig. That was only about my 4th or 5th gig, you know. So it was one of my earliest gigs. So anyway, right. So that's the what's been happening on the website. And thanks very much for all the comments. That's amazing. We've had a lot. There's someone else just saying there. It's Bon just saying he sounds great in the album. He does. He really does. I think the rest did him good. But okay. So some films now. First thing, I'm just going to do my weekly. Well, I was in a good mood about this last week, but this week things have changed. Right. So last week they flooded in, mate. We got two
flooded in.
This week,
none.
Nada. Right. No. Come on. No. Right. I've got to try and be calm at this point. This is where we're trying to gather your memories on video. And I think it's a great idea. And as Bon said a couple of weeks ago, it's culturally important. I completely agree with him. And we'd love you to put your videos together. Now, I know a few of you are looking to do it and wanting to do it. In fact, I've probably had about 15 people say they are going to do it. So it's going to happen. So I'm chuffed. It's like if we get up to between 25 and 100 videos, I'll be delighted. But there's 9,000 of us. So come on, let's see if we can get some more videos. And Andy, that includes you and me.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking that.
We haven't done it, have we? That's not very good. So we're going to have to do it ourselves. So they'll come soon. Probably not next week, maybe the next week for me, and you do yours when you can, mate. But so anyway, if you could do that, that would be great. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a cheeky swipe. I'm going to go on a slight diversion at this point, because I've got another video I'm going to show you. And this is one that Andy's not been looking forward to me showing, but you'll be pleased to hear I've edited it, mate. But this is a clue about what the good news is that we've got to tell you after this video. So I hope you enjoy this. This is 10 years old now.
Oh, it's
7 years later, we've had 5 million hits on the top 20 in the UK. And if you've ever wanted to know about the Apollo, GlasgowApollo.com. Thanks very much for your support over the years, guys. Go there. And we'll see you at the end of August that I was there down the Armadillo. Cheers. Bye. He was just really nervous. just before they go, guys, we have, because they've done so much work on the apollomemories and keeping the memory alive of the Glasgow polo, we have one of the statuettes that they're going to have to cut down the middle. Brilliant one for Scott and Andy.
Who was that guy that was singing Sharp and had some hair on his head?
I thought you were brilliant, mate. I thought you were brilliant. That was the night 10 years ago. 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
That was before my second batch, mate, of children.
Man.
God.
Jesus.
And what was it called? The venue. What was the venue called again?
That was
it venue 17? Venue, no.
23.
23.
Apollo 23 or something, because it was 23 Renfield Street? No,
it was round the corner.
Yeah.
But this is a venue that they had underneath where the Apollo used to be. But I don't know if it's still there. I haven't looked. I don't think so. I've not heard about it for ages. But
so shut up.
Yeah.
When I was there last year, I walked past it, and annual pilgrimage.
Yes.
After my COVID test. That's what I did after my COVID test. I went and had a walk around there.
Did you? Brilliant.
Yeah.
This is Gary Booth saying he went through for that night. It was good, wasn't it? It was a really good night. And
I had a great night, that.
It was. And there was 1,000 people there. It sold out like that. We've talked about the bill before, but it had like Johnny Cash, The Jam, Thin Lizzy, obviously AC/DC, Status Quo, all the sort of classic acts. So it was a good night, and we didn't know that was going to happen. So it was really sweet, and it was cool. I can't believe I said armadillo. What was I doing?
I can.
What was I doing?
It's a slip of your tongue, mate.
Oh man, I know that's what folk used to call it, but I definitely didn't mean to say that. Yeah. I'm quite embarrassed about that anyway. But it was
Is this why you moved?
That's why you moved to Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I agree with Boyne again, saying a lot of these cover bands are great. They're brilliant. And actually, I like that there's some of these like Donington gigs are happening now where all the cover bands for all the bands are playing in lineups. I quite like that. I'm quite drawn to that. I'd rather it was new bands, but if I have to go and see old bands, I quite like seeing the young bands doing the old music, if you know what I mean. So there's no Zimmers on the stage. So anyway, that was a good night. And that leads us on to the surprise that Andy and I promised in the blurb when I sent out the notification for tonight. The guy who presented us with that trophy is the one and only, if you're from Glasgow, everybody knows him, Tom Russell, who ran a rock show that we all used to listen to from midnight till 2 a.m. on a Friday night. That's right, isn't it?
That is right.
Yeah. And Tom was the guy who really was it's like Gandalf in terms of music for us, because we'd all listen to Tommy Vance, who did some good stuff. Loved Tommy to bits. But I always preferred Tom because, one, he would read our letters out nearly every week. We were on that show so often, it was unbelievable. But two, he did play some different stuff and introduced us to all sorts of bands we'd never heard before. So, and the good news is, last week I contacted Tom. We've known Tom since before then, actually, but we've known Tom since then. Not well or anything, but he knows about what we're doing. And we invited him to come on the show, and he said yes. So we're just looking for a Friday night. We're going to have Uncle Tom on the show one night in the near future. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That's good.
It should be really good to have time. What we'll do is we'll get you to send us some questions and stuff and see if we can dig something out of the archive from him. He must have amazing material in his wee house somewhere.
Well, we've both got his book. You got me a copy of his book, and that's only a thin slice of what he's got remembered.
Yeah, and he seems to have quite a good memory as well, doesn't he?
Yeah,
better than us.
Better than us.
Maybe he stopped drinking. I don't know.
He keeps. I'm gonna have to grow my beard, I think, just to see if I can get. When is this? Is this like in 6 months, so I can have a beard down to here?
maybe need to get a false one, mate. We should all put beards on. That would be a laugh. Anyway, so yeah, it is a good book. It's well worth reading. It's great, and I think I'm so chuffed that he said he would. He said he would. He actually said I'd love to come on. You know, it was proper enthusiasm. So it's really good. So watch out for that. I hope I've asked him for a date that works for his diary, because I think he has a gig on a Friday night that he does. So I'm not quite sure how he's
the Max.
Aye, maybe it's recorded or something, mate. It might be that it's recorded. I don't know. Anyway, he said yes, so we'll wait and see what happens. But I thought
maybe he does it from the house. Maybe he does it from the house.
He probably does, actually. Yeah, he probably does. And Chris is saying that'll be a cracking night with Tom. Yeah, absolutely. If you remember the last Tom we had on, when we had Tommy McGrory on, I mean, that was brilliant, wasn't it? So probably my favourite show that we've done. So yeah, can't wait. All right.
We're only going to have Toms as guests.
Yeah. Well, Tom Morton's the other one I've asked.
3 Toms.
3 Toms. A pile of Toms.
Yeah.
But Tom Morton hasn't come back yet. But I think he's looked at my LinkedIn profile. So I think he's probably thinking, is this guy a numpty? And he's probably looked at my profile and going, he's a numpty. I'm not going to speak to them. Anyway, right. So to almost close, we've got our customary piece of music. And Andy and I have been talking a lot about this, about, you know, what music we play at the end, and should we try and match it with the gigs that happened this week. And we're both a bit nervous about that because of the effort that it takes. Sorry, it sounds really whingy, but it does take a wee while to put these things together. So we might just continue to be random, but Andy and I are going to have a chat about it. And I just want to give the main man, Jack McCafferty, a bit of a plug here, because the work that Jack does on the Rescued recording stuff is absolutely brilliant. And just this week, he's put on a gig, the one of the final gigs that was ever at the Apollo. It was the Frankie Goes to Hollywood gig, and I was going to use that, but the quality of it it's a fan recording, so I decided not to. But I'm going to have a look at that again, because it might be we can clean it up a little bit and use a bit of it, because they were a lot better band than I thought they were back in the day.
One of the comments on the, I don't know what it was for, but it was, I don't know if it was about the book, the Rescued recording, but it was saying that they were a fantastic live band. Yeah, like really good live band. Good live band.
So yeah, well, look at them. And I mean, they were so creative. Even if you didn't like that sort of music, they were massively creative. And I remember hearing every song and thinking, that's another number one. That's another number one. That's another. I mean, they kept going, didn't they, for about 2 years or something?
Yeah.
Although I did. Do you remember the T-shirts? The Frankie Says T-shirts.
Yeah.
Then the Frankie fucking Miller. That's who. Yeah. T-shirts. They were good.
Well, that was the best version of the Frankie Says.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're not playing them out. We're not playing out with them. We're going to play out with some rock and roll legends, and it's the one and only Thin Lizzy. And this is from a gig that I thought Andy might be in a huff because I played a video of him. So I thought, well, how am I going to cheer him up? And this is a gig we were both at, 1983, with the big man, with John Sykes on guitar, and of course Scott Gorham and the rest of the guys. But it was a brilliant gig. And I know this is one of Andy's favourite songs, so we're going to play this. Hope you enjoy it. It's 5 minutes of absolutely brilliant.
Called Angel of Death. Fires down in Bristol came at the earthquake. I see buildings ablazing, going up in flames. I heard men, women, and children crying out to their God for mercy, but their God did not listen, so they were burned alive. Down, down, came underground. Great disaster. I was hanging out for a stormtroopers march right across the measurable lane. See 2 world wars. See men send rockets out into space. And often see the Holocaust. An angel of death descending to destroy the human race. Down, down, deep underground. Greatest house in the world. There was a French philosopher by the name of Nostradamus who prophesied that in the late 20th century an angel of death shall come and waste this man. A Holocaust, the likes of which this planet has never seen. Now I ask you, do you believe this to be true? I was standing at the bedside on the night that my father died. He was crying out in pain. To his God he said, help mercy. His body was riddled with a disease. He expected no cure, but before he died in the night, he was lost in the sea. Down, down,
Wow.
Well, that was very nice. Thank
Oh
you.
dear, how good is that? That's amazing. It brings back so many memories. It was terrific, absolutely terrific. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. That was specially played for my mate over there because I know he loves it. And because I played that video, he said, "Don't put that video on." I had to put the video on.
Well, I like it. That was good because the only thing I sang was Problem Child. Because I think that was that. I think the first verse and that was the only thing I knew because they sprung it on me that they were going to do that night. So Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you did extremely well. So anyway,
I mean, when am I ever going to get a chance to do that again?
well, God knows, and
Yeah.
certainly with hair, it's unlikely.
Yeah. Yeah. My own hair at that too.
Oh, here's Terry Rose saying "Peace Pipe." That's a Cry of Love song. Oh, I think we need to have some Cry of Love on the after show tonight, mate. I think we need to have that in the background because
Oh yeah.
you've wet that particular whistle of mine. So, and this is from Raymond. Only seen them once. Black Rose, very good on Easter
Wow.
Sunday with Gary Moore. Wow, that would have been brilliant. We've got pictures of that.
See, Black Rose, Roshan Dove is that is the best guitar solo I've ever heard. I think it's amazing. I love it. It's just so. Anyway, yeah. Let's not get into the Thin Lizzy.
Great rock and roll. Anyway, right. So we hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you're as chuffed as we are that Tom's coming on. Uncle Tom, as we used to call him. Did everybody call him Uncle Tom? Did everybody call him Uncle Tom?
Yeah,
we did. I think they probably did. I'll never forget him at the Kelvin Grove Park coming on, mate. Remember, he used to come on and introduce the bands. But here's some contentious feedback here. The Lizzie 76 lineup was unbeatable. I think it was pretty close, but I never saw the 76 lineup, so you might be right. That was Ian Bamford.
They've all been good.
They've all been, yeah, pretty much every single line.
It's not like Phil Lynnett's going. Well, Snowy White that was not fantastic, but
no.
Snowy White,
yeah. I saw Snowy White playing with Roger Waters, and he was actually very good.
Yeah,
you know, but he didn't fit the Lizzie thing, I don't think, as well as others did. But who hasn't played for Thin Lizzy? Anyway, okay, from that era. Anyway, okay, we better get on. It's that's an hour, so thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you.
It's been really good, and the level of engagement we're getting on the chat is brilliant, guys. So thanks very much. It makes the show much more entertaining for us. And as always, Andy learns about how many mistakes he's made on the website. So keep him right. He's not getting complacent. He's just getting busy. Behave yourself. Be safe. And we'll hopefully see you on the after show Zoom chat. The address is in the Facebook group. I've just posted it on here. If you come along, that would be great. We get a regular sort of 7 or 8 people now, so it'd be nice to get that up a little bit, hear some more stories, and it goes on a little bit. It's quite entertaining. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next week. So thank you very much from me.
And thank you very much from me.
Good night.
Thank you.